Hey Aries, it's Empress Rose here. Welcome to your reading. These are general readings, so we take what works and leave what doesn't, as with everything in life. And if I don't catch your storyline on this one, go check your other major placements, see if we can't connect our energies over there. So, and then I'm also posting pictures of the spread at the end of the reading. So if you're interested in inspecting those cards more closely, that's where they'll be. All right, Aries, what do we have here? We're starting with the Oracle Mystical Moments for an intuitive vibe here of where we're going with this reading. All right, Aries, what have we got? What have we got? Okay. Anything else? Just that one card? I had to ask. It's either one card or a book, where you don't get anything in between. Oh, this first card, I love it. This is My Dear Friend. So this is a companion about a companion card. So this has a companion card. Previously in the deck, it's called the Journey, when you just start off. So this references something that's been with you for a very long time, a long-term dream. You maybe aren't together every step of the way, but you are together as a source of mutual support. You tend to think alike and have similar visions for the future. And you've been very committed to this person. It's been a very strong relationship, if not physically step by step, then spiritually. It references a very strong relationship. In also talking about the long term, here we have a long way home. So this could be referencing a beginning of something, a beginning of a relationship that's going to be this long, or a relationship you've had with someone that is already a very long time, depending on, how old you are and where you're at in life. Although I guess you could be as old as 60, 65, which isn't that old. That's young yet. I'm not even close to that, but you could be, and still just be beginning on a 20-year friendship, That's really beautiful. You may not have even met your very best friend yet that you're going to have for the longest time. Well, that's really cool. Really cool thing to think about, I think. So, a long way home, though. You've made a commitment to a very long journey. This always reminds me of college, but it could be a job, it could be a relationship, could be obviously a couple different things. So, but you've made a commitment. You've got sort of a companion here, maybe at a distance. So again, we're talking about something that maybe isn't right up close next to you every step of the way, but is out there in a distance. And you're both hoping to travel somewhere, but your mode of transportation requires things outside of your control to move you. So you've got to move forward, but you got to wait for the wind here. But you have positioned yourself by pulling up anchor and making your commitment to this. You have positioned yourself to receive sort of the good luck or the flow of the universe and have that flow push you where you need to be. So, but it is going to be a long journey. You are committed to this very long path, this long journey. You're seeing the long, you've got that vision, that far-reaching vision out there. And you can see, another one of you out here in the distance, but you're going to need to be comfortable on the way, because this is a long enough journey that you've got to bring the RV. You can't just all pile in a car. You're going to have to bring the RV. So this is a long journey where you got to bring your home with you. You've got to be at home as you go and feeling comfortable as you go, because it is going to take a very long time. But you are committed to this, and if the winds come and blow you in the right direction, this should be an awesome journey with lots of cool stuff to see on the way and lots of beautiful views as you head out on your way. But you've already made the commitment. You've upped anchor for this long-term thing. Here we have Abracadabra. This is a lot of personal growth, a lot of personal growth. And then there's something having to do with the words and the words that you say, Aries, that it can help change something. So you've grown a lot, and this shell right here also references growth. That spiral is a symbol of growth, of personal growth, as we go through our own personal cycles. You know, our own personal vibe has its own cycles and our own themes that we deal with, which I think most people, if you are paying attention, you know what kind of themes you're dealing with by your late 20s. Like, okay, this is probably going to be something I deal with for the rest of my life, and I'm going to cycle through this. But each time, the hope is each time you come back around to that, you've grown, you've learned, and you can see it a different way now, because each time you hit that same part of the arc, part of the circle, part of you grow a little bit. So your circumference is always growing, and yeah, you're growing. So, and you're learning, and you've grown a lot. You've grown so much that you may actually be able to break out of a certain cycle. And it has to do with your words. There's something about saying the magic words that breaks that this growth is for the ability to make a big leap forward. It could be upping anchor and making this commitment, but there is a big leap forward here. You first had to grow enough to be able to reach that star, to reach that lucky star. You had to do all of this growing and all of this development. And then now there you are. You've got the ability to make something happen, to change some kind of dynamic, and it has to do with your words. And then, oh, you've grown a lot. Yes, you have. And you are the butterfly, and you have transformed. And there might be some sort of sense of self-worth that's transformed, a sense of belonging, a sense of self-worth. Again, we're dealing with something in the mind. Your mind might be a little less ranging and less out of control. I mean, I feel like there's a lot with the mind here, honestly. We have this sort of you being of the same mind of somebody, being connected intellectually, seeing the world in a very similar way to that person. Here, your mind has changed, grown, developed. Yeah, you're in your vibe, you're in your circular patterns, just like all of us are. I mean, I saw once the people as beaters, you know, you have the hand mixer, and we're all rotating at our own vibration, kind of dealing with our own stuff, dealing with our own shit, dealing with our own vibe, and we're all rotating at our own speeds. And sometimes those speeds mesh well with others, and sometimes they don't. But we're all just kind of hand mixers, solo hand mixers, and then sometimes we get to hand mix with somebody. Anyway, so and then here your mind is a little bit more under control, more understood, more under control here in this transformation. This is a bit of a slightly incomplete butterfly. I don't see it as like the transformation is fully done, but it's been pretty wild, and it's had this long incubation period, and this is the part where we're almost done, but we're pumping some blood back into those wings, not back into those wings, because the blood's never been in the wings to begin with, because we've just emerged from a cocoon. So. But you're here to pump this blood into the wings before you can really fly, before you can get going. But you have changed a lot. You have grown a lot. And this could be talking about personal growth also, you know, because we see a more immature version at the front of the deck. And then here's a mature version. So there might have been a lot of maturity and a lot of new understandings, and personal growth has happened. And it's about to change the dynamic here. And then we have Lorelei here. So maybe I should have started off with this one, but I just wanted to dive right in with that, my dear friend. Dive right in. We have a mermaid. So this mermaid, she's a little bit immature. She has some outsize, like, because I'd like to see you go from like this immature energy, and then you made this commitment to maturity, and then you grew, and now you're mature. Like, that's kind of how I'd like to see that, right? That's how it goes, right? But maybe we're going back here for a moment. I don't know. This one came out last. And then here she is. It's a little bit of an emotional, immature energy right here. So hopefully you have grown out of that, or in the process of growing out of that. This could be somebody else in your life, though. You could have been doing this whole huge commitment to emotional growth, to how you see the world, to personal growth and emotional growth, and you're ready to make some real changes in your life because this growth is coming full circle, coming into fruition, becoming complete in a way that is going to start changing your reality and changing how you interact with people and how you interact with reality. But this could be somebody else, or this could be you. This could be a part of you. I wish I would have seen this and been like, but there are no mistakes in tarot. So there might still be a little bit of immature energy here. It's unsettling for a lot of people. It could be you, or it could be someone you're dealing with. Maybe you've matured, but this other person hasn't. And they could upend this whole boat, send all these sailors. Hopefully they can swim because she's here. She could do anything she wants. Like, is she gonna drag this thing to shore? But here again, we have this up anchor. We have this anchor's been pulled up, and there's a lot of instability, a lot of uncertainty, and it's lying in the hands of somebody, some sort of fickle emotional energy that could do things. See, we've got these two up anchors here. So there's some instability here, though. This one specifically references emotional instability, not feeling anchored, not grounded, somebody having a lot of control over a situation to completely upend the apple cart or capsize this sailboat and destroy people's lives and livelihoods and all sorts of things. And she's just sitting there for now, but we're not 100% sure what this immature, unpredictable energy is going to be. So this could be your heart. Your heart might be feeling a little unpredictable. Well, your mind has done a lot of growth and really transformed and changed, and you can see the world in a new way, and you're making things happen. You're able to, make things happen, make this journey start. You're ready to do that. Your mind is, but this could be your heart, or this could be somebody else in the situation, or this could be you. She just kind of shows up randomly there. So it could be your heart that's a little unstable and not quite sure what's going on, but your mind has grown. You've grown quite a bit. Whole new perspective on things. You might be looking at your past. You might be looking at your past and remembering how this is how you were. But also we cycle through things, right? That's what I was talking about. So you could be in a cycle of growth and maturity, but this could be part of your cycle, is this emotional instability comes back around every so often, but maybe you know how to deal with it better. So if it does come back in, this emotional immaturity, this unstable energy, if it comes back in, you know how to deal with it now. All right, Aries, this is your past, your present, your inner landscape, what's at issue, your environment, your to-do list, and your possible outcome. Oh, we've got emotional maturity here. All right. So in your recent past, you have this Page of Pentacles. So this is being really fascinated with aspects of reality, like jobs and apartments and houses and money, and just being very fascinated about it, learning about it. The pages are sort of freshmen of the deck. They're new, they're wide-eyed, they're curious about everything. They're not cynical. So there's been a lot of curiosity with real life, with the tangibles of life, with understanding, money, how to make money, where it comes from, what kind of work are you going to be doing, what kind of work do you want to do to make that money, that kind of thing. Like, that's been a question, that something you've been questioning, something you've been puzzling over and thinking about is sort of where does your money come from? All these like reality-based aspects of your life. And this could be related to this long journey. You may have recently committed to a new career, a new path, and here you are learning about it, contemplating it, getting very curious about it, and then maybe you do commit to it. But in your recent past, that's what's gone on. A lot of thought about money, career, how your physical life, something in your physical life, a lot of curiosity about that. In your present situation, you have the artist. So wouldn't that be funny if that was like actually something you were thinking about doing career-wise? Not funny. I mean, I love it. I think it's such an interesting, fascinating profession to combine the creativity with this like hardcore reality of money and business, and it's such a wild combination. It's amazing anybody can pull it off, because they're two separate strengths. And then you have to put your mind, you have to put yourself out there, but most artists are extremely sensitive. That's what makes their art really good, is that intuitive, sensitive thing. And then asking them to put out all these risks is pretty crazy. Pretty wild combination. Anyway, so in your present situation, you have the artist. This is sort of like, so look, he and this tree are mimicking, they're mirroring each other. So there's something about reality here, and then you bringing your own interpretation. This could be talking about profession. What do you want to do professionally? We've got a couple other cards that indicate that. And this is also like seeing reality very clearly, which might have been some of this growth that your mind has gone through, some of this development, learning that you've done. And then he's copying down the tree here, but he's an artist, so he's not a camera, which is also an art form too, but it's more about composition, and it's just different, but not really, but sort of. So he's looking at this tree. He's becoming very intimate and familiar with reality, with this real tree here, this beautiful, gorgeous thing, and he's copying it down. But he's bringing his own interpretation, his own idea. He's dreaming about it. There's something about a dance with reality, and I do believe there's a profession here too, because we have this institution in the background. So this could be about like thinking about how you're going to make money, or seeing the world. There's some sort of intellectual observation here. Oh my gosh, and this tree looks like a brain and a brain stem too. So you could be, watching your own mind and creative. It has something to do with creativity and your mind. I mean, we already have a lot going on here with your mind growing, with your mind developing, with your mind, your thoughts, being able to be more in control of your thoughts. But there's some sort of creativity going on with your mind and with your life, and maybe some creative work that's going on. And then here you, in your inner landscape, what you're hoping for is the Chariot. Who is not hoping for the Chariot? All of us are hoping for the Chariot. These two things in life coming together, working together, and moving so fast together. This is like the three-legged race. This is like these two beings get tied together, but they work together and they move forward. No, it's not the three-legged race, because you can't go faster in a three-legged race than you can separately, but you can, yeah. Anyway, these things getting yoked together, these two lions, and they're rushing over the chariot, and there's this energy of, my words are falling over each other. There's this magical energy, this fast movement, and that's really what you're hoping for, is to bring something to fruition very quickly, very fast, making a dream come true very quickly. That's what you hope for. But in your environment, you have this Five of Pentacles. So you are coming out of a time of poverty, of lack, of maybe a sense of isolation, of loneliness, of not having what you need. Maybe people around you had what you needed, but you didn't have what you needed. And this could be like needing to protect something without being protected yourself, trying to pour from an empty cup, some sort of sense of unfairness and imbalance, but you're coming out of that. Why is that an issue? Why is it an issue that you're coming? There can be guilt about coming out of imbalance and leaving other people behind in poverty as you come out of poverty. There can be some guilt associated with that. There can be some confusion associated with that. There can be a sense of when you're coming out of, I just lost it. When you're coming out of a sense of isolation and being left behind, there can be some anger about what you did experience and how unnecessary it felt. So there is some sort of coming out of, and if you're an artist or working in, you know, we've already got the pentacles here, so you could be coming out of a time of joblessness, and that can be really shocking to go from not having a job to having a job and having to organize your life and arrange things around this job that suddenly shows up in your life, and you're like, wow, okay, that's 8 hours a day I don't have anymore. So there could be some organizational issues, some getting your money organized, something like that. So something like that is at an issue. There's something about coming out of a period of feeling downtrodden, maybe feeling isolated, feeling empty, feeling impoverished, either emotionally or physically. And also coming out of poverty, you can have like a backlog of bills to pay and a backlog of things that need to be taken care of. So you could be dealing with like a whole schedule change as far as getting a new job or taking a new direction in how you're gonna make money. There could be, you know, time management issues, money management issues. A lot of issues can arise. I mean, it's a very exciting time to come out of poverty or out of a period of feeling impoverished, either physically or emotionally or whatever. It's very exciting, but it also has challenges associated with it. So it looks like maybe one of those challenges, and it may just be completely out of your comfort zone and something you're not used to, and that can feel very unsettling as well. In your environment, you have 7 of Wands. So somebody in your environment or your environment is causing you to have to stand up for what you believe in. So that's going on. Someone you know, maybe someone you live with, is needing to stand up for what they believe in, fight for what they believe in. There's some attacks coming. I mean, especially if you're coming out of, if you were coming out of poverty, this would be all your poor friends coming for you. Like, you think you're better than us, you're gonna leave this pot that we're all living in. And that relates to a story about crabs, and no, lobsters. So it's not just me saying, you want to leave this pot, but lobsters will like try to get out of the pot, but they'll pull the other lobsters back in. If a lobster tries to leave the pot, they'll see it as, oh, here, we're going to help ourselves to this ladder here. And then nobody gets to leave the pot because everyone's pulling each other down. So there could be like needing to stand your ground, or needing to stand up for what you believe in, or stick with your intuition, or someone around you is having this struggle, having to fend off the naysayers. There could be people saying that you can't do this. There might be people saying that this new path you're on, this new career path, you can't do that. That's not going to work. That's never going to work. Oh my gosh, especially if you're going to be an artist, you'll have everybody and their dog telling you how that's not going to work. Don't let other people who didn't follow their dreams ruin yours. So yeah. So the energy you're coming into is this lovely, emotionally mature energy, which is what I was seeing over here, but we've got this emotional immaturity. So maybe this emotional immature energy comes back around, but this time, you're in touch with your intuition. You've got your cup here. You've got an eye to the future. Yeah, the storm is raging all around you, but you know what? You're zen. You got this. You got this. And it's for the good of all. You know, the kings are looking out for everybody in the kingdom. That's just, it's not better or worse than the queen vibe. It's just different, right? It's just a different phase or a different focus. So male or female, you come into this energy of this emotional maturity, letting these feelings come through you, and it may be expressing them when you want to, and they're just here giving you information, just like, is this too hot to touch? Is this cold? Am I cold? Like, all of that information that our bodies give us, emotions are just another sense like that, and are giving us information, then we get to decide what to do with them. So we don't necessarily ignore them and go like, oh, this really hurts my feelings. Okay, at least I know that. We're like, this really hurts my feelings and maybe I need to say something. Okay, what do I want to say? So there's just a lot of emotional maturity coming in here. And that's what you're bringing to this situation, is a lot of emotional maturity too. I think it looks very career. This looks very much like a career reading to me, but could be a lot of different things. I thought I was getting a relationship reading, and it turns out I personally was getting a career reading, and that was fun. Very surprising to realize, like, oh, that's what that was. So, and then in your to-do list is this, not your to-do list, your possible outcome is this planning stage, figuring out. Two of Wands. You're like this general who's organizing things, planning things, saying, where does this go? Where does this go? And so if you're coming out of this period of lack and you suddenly have money or have something or have resources, it is going to take a lot of planning and a lot of figuring out how you're going to set up your budget, how you're going to set up, do you have enough for a retirement plan now? How are you going to set up paying these bills? Do you need to pay people back that you've borrowed from? And so this is a lot of calculation. This is our calculating energy. We're not necessarily in our intuition. Right now we're making calculations. So we're kind of leaving intuition and the feels off to the side. Well, we've got our emotional maturity here. And somehow that leads us to being able to calculate and figure out where this new source of income is going to go. Maybe we're figuring out our schedule, our budget, something like that, something very practical. All right, Aries. So I hope you enjoyed this reading. Thank you so much for your likes, comments, and subscribes. I do love interacting with you guys over there and over there on YouTube. I'm on Twitter too. If you want to find me on Twitter, I'm over at, my handle is Light Train, and I'm E Rose over on Twitter. So I hope you have a wonderful week.